You're listening to Tactical Startup, a podcast dedicated to building amazing businesses. I'm your host, Taylor Darcy. In this podcast, we explore ways to innovate, improve, and level up your business through sales, marketing, automation, and business planning. Successful businesses pivot when times are bad and stay the course when times are good. We will have guests from different walks of life to help you see that success is not only possible, but even probable, no matter when or where you start. Through hard work and strategic planning, you can have the entrepreneurial life you've always dreamed. Tune in weekly to level up your business. Hello and welcome. On this week's podcast, we're going to talk about your role as an entrepreneur in society in the context of not just building a product, but solving a problem and being an advocate for good. I've seen a couple of things in the media and throughout different advertisements. There was a person that was looking for funding for a slap bracelet that was also a mask. So it was a slap mask. Okay, not endorsing them, don't know anything about it. But the idea that as an entrepreneur, as someone who is contributing to society in a different way than others, people that are contributing via job, there is nothing wrong with that. That is their particular desire, their goal, their dream, or whatever it may be. And there's nothing shameful or any work is good work unless it's illegal. But my point with that is that these entrepreneurs are seeking unique solutions to problems. And they did so because of their ability to pivot, something that big, large corporations may or may not have the ability to do. And what I mean by that is that they might have the idea, but by the time their supply chain's rolling, as soon as the decision makers decide and the people that are inputting it and they do the analysis for the cost and all of these different factors, they run the real risk of it being too late, that somebody else has either had the idea or that it gets killed before it even gets to that innovative process, before it gets to that area where you're going to want to fund it. Now, again, I don't want you to think that I'm endorsing the slap mask, but I want you to think about it in the context of the larger whole. You have, as an entrepreneur, a unique opportunity for growth that many other people don't have. And I've said this repeatedly, and I think it bears mentioning in a different context, that your role as entrepreneur, your greatest asset is your ability to pivot. I say this in my introduction, but I think it's clear that in the middle of a pandemic, you'll notice that true entrepreneurs, and I'm not just talking business owners, I'm not judging business owners, they have their role as well. But entrepreneurs are looking for ways to innovate and to improve and to get better at what they're doing and to be, for instance, the idea that my law practice is largely virtual at this point, and it has been since it started. I don't require in-person visits. I don't require people to get physical signatures on things. I try to make sure that people get the service that they need virtually. I've said this before, many of my clients I've never met in person. I've had phone calls, I've had Zoom calls, I've had different ways of meeting them, but I've never met them. And I talk to them on the phone for what could be hours sometimes. And it's not that I don't want to meet them. It's just that between their busy life, my other clients, it's much more convenient to spend that time on the phone rather than spend the time going to and from the office or going to meet them. So much time has been saved. And so in the context of the pandemic, the changes that have occurred, things that we used to think, well, why can't we just meet via phone? Why do I have to go in person to these things? Now, there are some things that we still want to go into person with. Like, I miss the opportunity to see people in real life in a meaningful way. I miss seeing my friends. I miss seeing these things. Being able to go to the beach or go to the mall or go wherever I want to go without being hurt. But I recognize now is the time to innovate and not necessarily to do those things that are going to, yes, I miss, but aren't going to help. right? I'm doing my part by staying an entrepreneur and doing the things and innovating, which is where this whole studio idea came from, was the idea that I can meet with you, my clients, via podcast, via YouTube channel. These things, these tools that not every business can do. If I'm a restaurant, obviously I have to sell food. That's my goal. I can't do that virtually. But as a law practice, I can do it virtually. Now, there are other ways. The DoorDashes and the Grubhubs and the Uber Eats and all of these tools that can be used, but maybe they don't have it in place. Maybe it's a franchise that doesn't allow it. I don't know. But my point is that as an entrepreneur, you can be like that company that's finding the slap masks or just using your platform for good. That's part of what my purpose of having a YouTube channel and having a podcast is about, is helping people and being a voice for good, for doing the right thing, even when it's difficult, because there is a real need for what I have to talk about. And too many people use their voice either for bad or they don't use their voice at all. And I think that's the biggest travesty is that when you have these great platforms that you can use to help people and you chicken out. I mean, you can come up with a million excuses why you shouldn't do something. But the reality is that you need to do them anyway. I'll be honest with you. Being on camera is not my idea of a good time. I wouldn't say an introvert, but I don't necessarily seek out the public. That's just not me. I like fixing things behind the scenes. I like the scoreboard without me being the one scoring the shots. I like being able to build my clients' business without me being the one doing that work, right? I get to advise, but they get to be the ultimate decision makers. Not because what I have to say is unimportant, but when I talk with people and I get to see their wins, that's what I really celebrate. That's where my voice comes in. And I've found that most entrepreneurs are really good at what they do. They don't like the administrative stuff. And what I try to do is I do the stuff that I enjoy by reading the contracts and doing the formations and helping them in that capacity, because that's what I truly love doing. I don't necessarily, I'm not as innovative as I want to be. I want to be more innovative. I mean, I'm probably about as innovative as you're going to find for an attorney, because most attorneys aren't on YouTube. Most attorneys don't have podcasts. That's just not our industry. And I'm trying to innovate and change that and bring the voice to the public for good, for helping, for letting you know that you're not alone in this entrepreneurial journey, that you don't have to be by yourself, that I can help you. I can take and assist you when you need it with those legal issues and those problems. And I think that when you're talking about entrepreneurs and small business owners, you're afraid that your voice can't be heard. But I want you to think about that even if you can influence one person, if you can help just one person through your business, and I mean meaningfully, I'm not just talking about transactionally basis, right? Transactional, this for that, right? Quid pro quo. Not talking about that. I'm talking about if you could be a mentor for someone that wants to start a business, then, oh my gosh, that's the best opportunity ever to do, because there needs to be more people that are innovating. Right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic with the vaccine that is just about to be released here soon in the United States. It's already been released in the UK, and they're seeing positive things that are happening because of it. But that wouldn't have happened had we have not had people that were innovative, that were working hard and around the clock to look at the science and look at those things. And we need that. We need more of that. We need you, because each voice within the entrepreneurial community contributes to the strength, contributes to the value that we bring to the world, right? We're not talking about these big conglomerate corporations that their sole goal. We're talking about true innovation. I believe that firmly that comes from individuals solving problems. What problem do you solve? If you're not solving a problem and doing your best at it, then you need to reevaluate why you're an entrepreneur. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe you're not solving a big enough problem. Maybe you're only solving a small problem multiple times. I mean, if I'm hungry and I want to eat and you're a restaurant, well, I don't need you to feed me for the rest of my life. I need one meal, right? So you're helping me solve the problem of hunger one meal at a time. Maybe right now, in the middle of a pandemic, you can't solve that problem to the same degree or the same way that you previously had been solving it. So find a new way. Find a different way. Temporarily. And I don't know what that is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do your job. I'm simply saying that we each fulfill this role, and presumably you have good food or you have a good service that you're offering. And I think that's amazing. I truly do. This is exactly why I became an attorney, was to help business owners like you to be successful. My parents' business could have been more successful. There was a lot that they didn't know, that they needed to learn. And the problem is when people don't realize that they don't know what they don't know, that they think they know more than they do, rather than studying and learning and doing what they need to grow, that's where you get yourself in trouble. When you think you have it all figured out. Because I'll tell you, I'm the first to tell you, I don't have it all figured out. I learn, I study, I read. I am extensive at what I do because I am humble enough to know that I don't know everything. And when I consult another professional about something, it's because I recognize that it would be hubris to look and to think that I know everything. And so I take looks at books. I take looks and I help other people. Again, not because I'm not capable, but because I am. I would encourage you to look for ways to innovate in your business, to improve, to use that voice that you have for good. When you see something that's not right, say something. Don't be stifled because you feel like you're only going to be one voice in a sea of voices. You can make a difference. In last week's episode, we talked about truth and trust and how important that is. And this is equally as important. Using your voice for when something isn't right to help others. I mean, that's really what we're talking about when we talk about entrepreneurship, is using our innovation and our products and our services to help others. So please, I urge you to consider your role and how you can innovate to help others, even in this time of pandemic, even when it's not going well for your business. I know it's hard, and my heart goes out to you. It isn't easy being an attorney. It isn't easy being an attorney for small businesses. And largely because you lack the capital that you need to even afford my services, or you choose not to. I don't know which. But either way, I feel your pain. You're not alone. I'm here to help. I'm here to guide you and to give you the assistance that you need for your legal purposes. But part of it is admitting that you need help. There have been so many people that choose not to reach out. And I don't mean me. I'm talking in other contexts. Because they're not willing to, their pride is getting in the way. Because they think they have it all figured out when they don't. So I urge you, if you haven't tuned into my weekly lives on YouTube, please do so. To ask questions, to get your questions answered about your business. Because I'm here to help. And this is what my goal is to help more people. And it's a lot easier one-to-many than it is to do one-to-one. I can help a lot more people this way than I can if I try to just meet with one client at a time or one potential client at a time. So I urge you, find ways to innovate, find ways to improve your industry. Don't leave it up to others to tell you to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Your bottom line will appreciate it. I promise. Till next week, grow your business with intention.